Hey, good morning, everybody. Bob Trade Genius, 28th of April. And I'm going to do this chart on this video on Bitcoin, but a little different than what Phil does. I like to look at ratios and like to look at how asset classes are performing against each other. And I'm also, in my next video, I'm going to do it with showing you gold too. And it really helps you kind of put things into perspective in terms of interest levels in certain asset classes. And for me, Bitcoin is really a measure of, I think, confidence, in the banking systems or governments worldwide, and the and gold is really a barometer of how people are viewing the storage of wealth in a currency. And so it's always good to see how people and where people are looking to protect their wealth. And as I'm monologuing here, people also look at oil too. So it's interesting to see how they toggle back and forth here on this. But today I'm just going to talk Bitcoin. So just really quickly here, this is just the when we trade Bitcoin on against Coinbase, and I talked about this earlier last week. We avoided the carnage on the Bitcoin with that what they had with Tether, and I showed the 4 hour chart. Phil was working off the weekly. Here's the daily. Everything was screaming that relative strength. Somebody knew something. It was getting pushed too hard, and you should have been out if you're a trader. And you got that big push here, and then just so you know how our system works is that we have a buy signal here. Okay, just on the very next day, but we're not getting any confirmation yet here on money flow and on the stochastics. So we don't take this buy signal until we get confirmation here or here. You can see we got confirmation here. We had confirmation here. We had confirmation coming out of here. Okay, and we didn't have confirmation here. And then here's one of the few times where it blows up. And it didn't really blow up, down 4%, but where the moneymaker signal hit, there was a confirmation, and the confirmation rolled over. Confirmation here too. So that's life trading. You can't create a perfect system, but this one's pretty damn good, and so we like it a lot. But having said that, I'll let Phil talk about the outlook here. I just want to show you how well Bitcoin is doing against a lot of the other assets out there. So these are all against Bitfinex, but it's really the ratio that I'm more interested in. Okay, so here's Bitfinex against the dollar, and then you have here's Bitcoin, okay, against oil. This is important because oil's been on a tear, and Bitcoin has been outpacing it. And now oil, I think, is getting a little bit too big for its britches here, and I think people are going to be going out of oil. I think that portends well for gold, and is supportive in my view of Bitcoin as well. And then here's Bitcoin against the euro. So when people always talk about how Bitcoin is dead, well, if you're in the euro, it doesn't sure look that way to me. You're doing quite well, and in fact, if you're in euro, you barely even saw that crash that happened a couple days ago, because the euro is so weak and getting weaker, and so Bitcoin is protecting your wealth quite nicely in euros. And then when we slide over, here's the yen, and the same with the yen. If you're trading in yen currency and you have Bitcoin, you're pretty happy. I mean, from 45 to 65, you're talking a 40% plus gain in the value of your Bitcoin, in 1 month. And so, that's why it's interesting. When people are dollar centric, sometimes you don't see what really is happening around the world, and why that's supportive. Even dollar-based assets are still supportive because people around the world are scrambling for safe havens, and that's why our stock market's been doing okay, and that's why Gold is not crashing, and that's why oil has been going up, and that's why Bitcoin has been going up. People are looking for assets that have some sort of scarcity or stability to it to get out of their local currencies. And I think this is just going to accelerate this year. And then here's Bitcoin against gold. Even Bitcoin against gold is doing well. So Bitcoin has just been outperforming. Gold actually has been pretty flat for the whole year, even though the miners have started to get a bid. They've been keeping gold at a pretty even pace. I think gold's up 1% since 2019, but it's up quite a bit from August, end of August, when I think the new bull started. And I'm quite confident gold's going to just keep grinding higher here, especially if oil starts to roll over, and especially now that they know the Fed can't keep up with the nominal growth in GDP. That just gives gold a green light, in my view. And then here's gold. I mean, Bitcoin against SPY, doing quite well. It's outpacing SPY. SPY's, it's doing well, but I mean, it's just starting to grind now, and we're at all-time highs, and SPY can't outpace GDP, and at some point, higher inflation doesn't help the stock market because costs start to roll into their expense line. So I think we're going to start seeing SPY really start to wig out here in terms of people's confidence in it pushing up, in the future. Maybe 5-10% is probably tops in my view. And here's against bonds on an inverse. So it's even a better safe haven than bonds. And there was one more I had. I guess I must have deleted it. Even Bitcoin against the volatility indexes as well. But you can see nothing wrong with Bitcoin in terms of where people are looking to store value. And I think as China and Korea and Japan and Germany and Italy and Turkey and Venezuela and India, and just Europe in general, and Britain, what a mess that place is that as those places continue to have turmoil, people are going to be looking for a place, especially if you have excess wealth over and above what you need for income or living expenses. You're going to see people trying to park their money into something that is a little bit more stable and also transnational. I was just reading about I know this is an aside, but that whole Robert Kraft thing down in Florida. They raided that massage parlor. He got arrested. Well, they went ahead and that the woman that was quote unquote his masseuse, they raided her safety deposit box, and they took, I think she had $143,000 in cash in there. And I'm not saying she's guilty or innocent. I'm not talking about the morality of this, but if you're doing stuff like that, why are you leaving cash where an authority could take it? People are gonna see that around the world, and they're gonna put things, into an asset like Bitcoin where you can't get to it, and they just can't seize it. And so it's because it's transnational, and you're going to see more and more of that as these countries start to really start to wig out. But anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. I think Bitcoin's far from dead, and I think people are recognizing its value of why it was created in the first place. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. I'll circle back and talk about gold here in a little bit, and silver. Equally as excited. I talked about silver yesterday, and I think it's going to be I think we're on ready for the next phase, and really a great week last week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.